Welcome back. Deputy Commissioner of Police Milton Daisy has revealed that the Royal St. Lucia Police Force received an overwhelming response from applicants when the call went out last week for wardens. The aim is to recruit 200 wardens who will be given the power of arrest in an effort to get the masses to follow the COVID-19 protocols. Daisy says the process is being carried out thoroughly to ensure that the right crop of people is selected. Rochelle Gonzalez reports.
Following an announcement by Prime Minister Alan Shasney on Friday the 13th of November that some 200 wardens would be employed to help in an effort to assist local police to better manage adherence to COVID-19 protocols on the island, the Royal St. Lucia Police Force released a statement calling for interested persons to come forward to fill in the positions. On Tuesday, Deputy Commissioner of Police Milton Daisy told Hot 7 TV that the application process was closed due to an overwhelming response from members of the public wishing to fill out the position. DCP Daisy said the process is in its final stage.
We got a lot of applications. I think we got over the amount that we were looking at. Yes. So what we are doing is we're in the process of shortlisting today, and we will have to try to finalize the numbers so that we would send it to Prime Minister's office so that they will do the rest of the approval and so on.
When asked whether the idea was well thought out and if it wasn't opening the door to allow persons to abuse the power bestowed to them, DCP Daisy gave an assurance that the vetting process is thorough.
What we would be doing in the process, what we are going to do, we will have some interviews from our officers, and we would try to target some things that would give us an indication as to the person's character and so on, the background of those individuals. So that we would be doing that is after we have gone through the paperwork. Actually, it would be in the form of an interview, whether it is one-on-one or whether it is through Zoom or so. But we would have to interview those individuals.
DCP Daisy indicated that the force is hoping to have the final list of applicants on the desk of the Prime Minister by the weekend, and it is then that the decision will be made with regards to the date of deployment. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Rochelle Gonzalez.
Prime Minister Alan Shasney showed his lighter side when he hung out with the boys of The Segment on Monday night. The PM was the guest on the popular talk show where hosts, comedians Noah Sees and Dove Too Funny feature prominent guests who reach out to the nation's youth. Prime Minister Shasney answered and revealed that he is just as St. Lucian as everyone else and cleared out the common misperception about him. Rochelle Gonzalez tells us more in this report.
The island's Prime Minister wound all the way down on Monday night as he sat with popular talk show hosts Noah Sees and Dove Too Funny on Hot 7 TV's The Segment. The PM used the opportunity to show the nation the other side of Alan Shasney, taking a light-hearted and relaxed approach as he spoke about a number of topics ranging from politics to youth entrepreneurship. The show began on a funny high with a skit featuring the three men, and moments later the conversation was on. The PM kept both hosts as well as viewers glued as he gave candid responses to the questions asked, including this one where he was asked to highlight the biggest misconception of him in St. Lucia.
What is the biggest misconception people may have of you?
Probably that a lot of people think that I can't relate to St. Lucia and St. Lucians. So they hear the accent, they see the color of the skin, and maybe they listen to a lot of other stuff. And so I think that when people meet with me, they go, wow, that's not really the person I was thinking I was going to hook up with, you know?
I felt the same. I felt the same. I was like, oh, I thought there would be a major disconnect, but you seem to be a very down-to-earth person, very mellow guy. Good sense of humor, and I appreciate that.
The PM continued on to explain that he is no different from the average St. Lucian, despite his status and job description.
My whole life, it's just, I don't think I'm better than anybody else. And I learn things from everyone. So from the person who is cleaning the office, to a person driving the car, to a person who is a farmer. Everybody has a different perspective in life, and it's always interesting for me never to believe I know more than anybody else, and always try to learn from other people. And you know what? Respect, man.
Yes, sir.
You got to respect every single person. Until you've walked in a person's shoes, you can't judge them.
Prime Minister Chasney said one thing he is not is a pretender, and so with him, what you see is what you get. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Rochelle Gonzalez.
The political leader of the St. Lucia Labour Party and the leader of the opposition, Philip J. Pierre, has called upon the St. Lucian government to embark upon widespread testing for the COVID-19 virus using latest technology. Pierre made the call during his address at the opening session of his party's 2020 annual conference of delegates, which was staged virtually on Sunday, the 15th of November. His recommendation comes as St. Lucia is experiencing its first major surge of in-country transmission of the virus, which has seen cases in virtually all communities and 2 COVID-19 related deaths.
We call for a proactive approach to fighting COVID by doing screen testing in all communities and call on the government to embrace the latest technology that will reduce the results of testing to minutes rather than days. In light of the rising levels of infections, the government should allow for an increase in the country's testing capacity by permitting the use of the forensic lab and private labs with established PCR capacity.
Pierre was also critical of what he called the double talking on the part of government officials.
We call for leadership by example, so that those who request compliance are themselves complying, and call on government to cease the double speaking on the COVID pandemic. We once more ask all St. Lucians, as we have repeatedly done, to comply in the interest of their health and that of their neighbors, and follow the established protocols.
That was SLP political leader Philip J. Pierre. Adela James, the street side vendor who operates at the intersection of Micoud and Coral Streets, says she will not be moved despite having been served with a notice to vacate the spot from the CCC. James says a court date has been set in the matter. Genevieve Gonzague tells us more.
On August 19, city vendor Adela James, who says she has been vending at the intersection of Micoud and Coral Street for over 2 decades, was served with court summons papers by the Castries City Council. This was as a result of James defying orders by the CCC to relocate after she was informed that she could no longer vend in that area. Almost 2 months after being served, James has continued to vend in the same spot. On Tuesday, James explained to Hot 7 that although she has received court papers, she has no choice but to continue her hustle as she has many financial obligations.
As you know, they have me in court, and I'm still waiting to see if I get somewhere that I could do my business because but I'm still here because I have my bills to pay, I have my loan to pay, so I don't have no other choice than to continue my business.
Woman police constable attached to the City Police Department, Jenna Pierre, told Hot 7 that due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the court proceeding against James has been postponed.
On Friday, 6 November 2020, Adela James was summoned to appear before the court to answer to charges of vending without a valid permit and obstructing pedestrians' footway. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the matter have been adjourned to the 5th of February 2021 for further case management. The defendant, Adela James, will be resummoned to appear before the court.
James says she has not received any other visits from the City Police Department and is awaiting her day in court. She says to this date, another venue cannot be given to her to relocate her business. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Genevieve Gonzalez.
Stricter protocols to curb the spread of COVID-19 came into effect on Monday. By all accounts, the new 4 p.m. closing time for bars was adhered to. But some bar owners are following the protocols begrudgingly. Others say they are doing their part willingly in the fight against COVID-19.
The newest COVID-19 protocols mandate limited social activity as well as bars being closed at 4 p.m.
This new protocol took effect on Monday 16th. Hot 7 visited bar owners within the city center to find out how affected they are. The proprietor of Citygate Bar, Earl Lewis, explained that the manner in which the protocols were enrolled were not satisfactory.
I personally feel that the authorities should try and get all bar owners together and have a meeting, exactly. I think we can have an input of how we should really go about it. I think the 4 o'clock hour is kind of inadequate for us. In other words, most people are at work right now. So when we close at 4, that means everybody go home together. I was thinking of at least 6 o'clock would have been most appropriate. Give us a little extra 2 hours because people from work will stop and have a beer or a soft drink or something of that nature to drink. But when everybody is at 4 o'clock, automatically right now I'm here. Nothing is happening because everybody's at work.
We also spoke to the proprietor of Plastic Coated Palm, Ms. Pamela Serafin, who lamented that the closing time may be tricky, as during the day, sales are usually slow.
I feel very bad about it. You know why? Because during the morning, you're making no sale here. Mostly in the afternoon, after people leave work, they'll pass and take a little drink, and they're going to their home. If you can go there around to 6 or 7, it will be better. But you tell me, I come there 9 o'clock, up to I haven't sold nothing, I just sit down there watching television. When you see by 4 o'clock, so then people come from work, they will stop and buy a drink and they're about the business. They said because of the coronavirus. Yes, I agree with that, People have to protect themselves and wear the mask. But poor people have a little bar, right? You can close at 4. That's the time people come in and buy a little drink. After work, they will stop and buy a drink and go at their home. The people that will say that is not affecting the domain, then they are like the hypocrite.
Lewis explained that he understands and supports the measures that have been implemented by the government and believes that members of the public need to take personal responsibility to protect themselves from the virus.
I am pissed off with our people. I think our people, we just don't seem to care. I won't agree with them. Our people don't seem to care. I know that our guards are down. When you come to a rum shop to purchase, because you pay something, I, the proprietor, I can't tell you exactly where to sit down. It cuts me off. See, it's one of our lack of discipline from our people. We have to blame ourselves. I know I'm supporting the government on what they're doing, because our people just don't seem to care. And the rate of this is escalating, putting more pressure on the country.
Reporting from the watering holes in the city center for Hot 7 TV, I am Genevieve Gonzaga.
Stay with us. Still to come, government says more jobs are coming amid tough COVID-19 times. Income support for fisher folk.